Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. Welcome back to another episode of my Vegas Golden Knights franchise mode series. The series where the rules are made up and realism doesn't matter. That's right, realism's like the Houston Astros being the favorites to win the World Series. Just doesn't matter, does it? Hashtag do damage. Welcome back to another episode, though. We are in the early stages of the 2022-2023 season, our new era here with the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, while our team isn't exactly set in stone, I would imagine some other moves will continue to be made throughout the season. I have made some changes to the lineup, mainly putting together a new second line featuring 1, 2, and 3, because why the hell not? But as discussed, someone like Alex Tuch, good chance he's going to be on the way out. We also have Dylan Dubé currently stuck in the AHL. We should probably either give him an opportunity at the NHL level or get rid of him. So eyes are certainly on guys like Stelio Mateos and Jason Robertson moving forward, although Stelio is off to a half-decent start. And of course, the defense, pretty solid, still quite young. The goaltending, though, was the big problem to begin the season, where both have been just absolutely abysmal. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. It's not exactly set in stone right now. Our roster moves will be made as we continue onward. Now, the thing is, we were talking about captains and alternates, or just captains in general. Now, it named Cody Glass captain. That is something that I disagree with. If we're going to be naming captains and having alternates, I think there are a few guys for the job, and maybe we don't even name a captain for this season. I mean, for me, Shea Theodore has to have a letter. Ryan Carpenter has to have a letter. From there, though, it's up in the air. I mean, do we go with Tate Dwyer? Do we go, who else do we go with? Because for me, it's normally I'd be like, well, Alex Tuch, because I really like Alex Tuch in real life, but video game form of him just doesn't seem to have any success. So, with the chances that I'm going to trade him, Nick Hague has my vote. So, Hague, Theodore, and Carpenter, the leadership group. Why Nick Hague? Go watch Rebuilding Hockey Town, damn it. I don't care if Cody Glass is frustrated about it. We're not going to name a captain yet because we have way too much talent. Tate Dwyer included, who's pissed off about losing a letter. Cody Glass included. We have way too much talent on this roster right now to be able to say for sure, yes, this is our leader. We'll see. It's up in the air. We have a lot of players that could rightfully be named captain in a short amount of time. We'll see who earns the right. It'll absolutely be up to you guys down the road here. Unfortunately, Cody Glass isn't all that happy. How would I answer this? That's not. I understand it's disappointing. You're on my radar. That's true. He could. I'm going to go with calming. He doesn't like it. Well, that's unfortunate, Cody. But, these things happen. It's true. He's on the radar. He may very well be named captain by you guys down the road. But for now, there's just too much competition as Magnus Eklund goes down to injury for the Chicago Wolves. They've been off to a half-decent start so far this year. We'll see if they're able to keep that up, as it's going to be a good year for rookies, which is good news for us. We don't have a tremendous amount of draft picks. As a matter of fact, we're missing our second-round pick this year, but we do still have the ability to make trades. Of course, we went all in last year, whether it be any of the initial deals, you follow up like the reacquisition of Roman Josi, which I know pissed off a lot of people. There's still so much that is going to be changed about this team. I mean, hell, you look at someone like Justice Kane, who should make the NHL roster sooner rather than later. People were speculating that we could be contenders within a few short seasons, and I definitely agree with that as long as all goes to plan. Unfortunately, Nick Suzuki goes down to injury. He's not going to be out for that long, though, so I'm willing to play whatever veteran gets put into the lineup in one of those primetime spots. Suzuki's only going to miss these 3 games, so it's not really worth doing a drastic lineup change for that. It was David Backes who ended up scoring it on top line. And he had 3 goals in 10 games as a 70 overall at 38 years old. Who says this game isn't great? David Backes. What a guy. What a hero. That is awesome. But I do like that idea of the 1-2-3 as the second line. We'll see how long that lasts. Mainly they could go up to the top line sooner rather than later. Now, unfortunately here, I think it's quite clear with a 10-12-2 record that this team isn't likely to contend as Brannstrom goes down to injury. He's going to be out for a little bit of time. This team isn't likely to contend. I think if we were to point fingers, we would immediately assume that it's due to the goaltending, and I mean, I know that's my assumption, and we'd probably be right, but the funny thing is we are still in a playoff spot. We're in a weaker division, as Tate Dwyer has almost a point a game. Let's take a look, because we're not in that bad of a spot. Luongo's been brutal. Yeah, both have just been absolutely brutal. Now, how's Alex Tuch done? 7 points. I do wonder, because again, we do have Dylan Dubé, who's ready to be called up. Bembridge is close as well. He might be ready for a fourth line spot sooner rather than later. If we were to package together, say, Roberto Luongo next to an Alex Tuch, we might be able to get something done here. So that could be nice. Now here's the thing. I talked about potentially doing this in the last episode. I am going to look to do this now. If I can trade Jaguar just to get him off roster, because we're never going to use him, I'm going to do that. So again, I am literally going to trade him for the equivalent of nothing. Unfortunately, Anaheim can't make that work. Arizona should be able to make that work. You give us, here, I mean, we'll give you Jaguar for literally nothing. He's just going to take up a contract spot. They have contract space. Take Jaguar for nothing. Thank you very much. So, Jaguar was never going to work out for us. But I guess the question now is if we go and look around the league, who do we have as a potential cheap target that's actually doing relatively decently in terms of goaltending? Someone that wouldn't be incredibly expensive, but someone that could push Malcolm Subban back into a backup role. And as we look here, let's look at top save percentages. Ryan Miller's getting it done at 42. Jesus. Keith Kincaid's looking all right. Now, of course, there's not a massive sample size here for a lot of these guys. Maybe we should have gone for Kincaid, Korpisalo. That's where it's tough. It really is tough to know how good some of these guys are. Someone like Alex Nedeljkovic making 3.8 over the next 2 years. Robin Lehner went to New York and is actually doing quite well. So you're welcome, Robin, for revitalizing your career. Jesus, that's unfortunate. Of course, he disappeared on us in the playoffs. I just don't know if there's going to be that easy to acquire target that's solid in net. And of course, someone like Robin Lehner is now doing as well as he has been, which is pretty hilarious, really, if you think about it. The main thing that I'm intrigued by is that Helvig was on there as a 76 overall goaltender, and if you look, we have a 75 in Kapainen, Jani Kapainen, who is doing very well down in the AHL as a 19-year-old and should be NHL ready relatively soon. So it might not be the worst idea to just have terrible goaltending. It's not ideal, but I'm not really sure who we'd go out and acquire, you know? There are options, but for me, it's almost as if, like, well, what if we just go with draft picks, run with Subban and Kapainen, and then more than likely sign Dirksen? Dirksen's the type of goalie where I'm concerned he's not going to develop, but if he gets playing time down in the NHL or down in the AHL, that could work out for us. It could. It's really tough to say, though. I think we'll give it a little bit more time to see if they turn it around, either one of them. And if they do, cool. If not, then maybe we'll look to make a deal. And of course, we'll have that little bit of an extra sample size from some of these guys because it's still pretty early. So let's see if we can get to the new year. December of 2022. We're currently in a playoff spot somehow. That's just a sign of being in a weak division and it still being the early stages of a season. We'll see how we do. I'm mainly intrigued, though, by just making as much progress as we possibly can. I think as we continue to see these guys develop, that it could end up being a pretty special run here, which you'd like to think that it would be, given the changes that we made. That's the goal, as Dion Phaneuf was a top pairing guy for us, because I didn't fix the lineup. That's amazing. Let's get Brandstrom back in. That was the only way to make sure that I wasn't having to call up and send people down. That's the one downside right now, is when you look at some of our guys, some of our fringe options, waivers are in effect. Guys like Stelio would be affected by waivers if we wanted to send him down to call up Dylan Dubé. So I am having to be a little bit selective with the changes that we make. That's why I'm leaning more towards trades when we look at pretty much anything. Although speaking of the Chicago Wolves and Dylan Dubé, they are killing it right now. Which, does it come down to the forward group, a pretty solid defensive group, or the fact that Kapainen had a pretty damn solid save percentage? This could be a really good year for the Wolves, as Hotainen's going to be out for 6 days, so he might miss this game against Calgary. Nick Bickle goes down to injury for Chicago. It's unfortunate, but he'll be back relatively soon. So Dion Phaneuf plays against his old team in Calgary, a part of an 8-0 win. Somehow, playing these guys in the lineup isn't exactly killing us, and he has 3 points in 7 games. The Sim Engine does what it wants to. Clearly. That's hilarious. We have 1 game left this month, and in 2022, can we end it on a win as Nick Hague goes down to injury? He'll be out for about 2 weeks. We were able to win that game 3-2 in overtime, so we're at 21-16-3 as of January 1st. Currently in a playoff spot as well. It's a close race. We're only 7 points back of Vancouver for the top spot in the division. Tate Dwyer still hanging around at a point-a-game pace, just a little bit under, as he is already proven to be one of my best draft picks of the year. As Malcolm Subban has found his game, Roberto Luongo, not so much. So, boy, I love Roberto Luongo, but it's not looking that good. Not at all. Defensively, Hague currently down to injury. Shea Theodore's having a pretty strong season. Brandstrom's doing well. Phaneuf, again, hilariously enough, had been doing pretty well. Norton, looking okay. Hotainen also looking all right. And Jet Wu, not doing that badly either. So, the one thing I'll do here, I don't really want to call anybody up. We'll just drop Dion down to that third pairing. And as far as the offense goes, again, we know Tate Dwyer's killing it. Cody Glass is having a good season. Nick Suzuki's having a good season. Clausen has 30 points in 40 games. Not bad. 20 goals already for Elijah Lackey, which he was the one in his, I wanted to say his junior career, but in his developmental time there, who had that crazy point total. And let's be honest, he's the one that really set off the chain reaction of me going insane at the draft, because I couldn't let him go. And so far, that was proving to be a good decision. And Victor Goldobin as well, 21 points, not bad. Marvin Mason has 13 goals on the third line. Roach doing all right. Only 12 points for Alex Tuck. I think Alex Tuck's time has come, unfortunately. I think it's time to move on from him. And when you look, the obvious play would be to move him. I do just want to check his value. The obvious play would be to move him and Luongo and to try and get another goaltender. Now, he is not all that valuable, and to be honest, we might have trouble moving that contract. I gotta be honest, we might not, boy, the menu lag is out of control right now. We might not have to take back another goalie. If there's no one who's going to be a cheap enough option to be a 1-2 punch with Subban, I'm not against playing a 75 overall guy there who might benefit from a bit more development. I'm not against it, even if that means we rush him. I'm good with it. As Brock Besser is currently leading the league in points, Adam Boqvist is up there for Chicago. Let's take a look, though. Rookie skaters, first and foremost. Lackey right now leading the way. Not bad. competition from Pablo Beagle of the Vancouver Canucks. Goaltending-wise, Vasilevsky, the most wins in the league. In terms of save percentage, Miller is still freaking lights out at 42. We signed the wrong veteran. Anton Khudobin still doing well at 77. Gotta love the shirt that he's wearing underneath that Bruins jersey. Robin Lehner is killing it, which... typical Robin Lehner. Typical Robin Lehner. James Reimer's up there. Holtby's up there. We just signed the wrong goalie. But I don't think it's worth really going out and making a deal here. It's just unfortunate that Luongo hasn't exactly panned out. It's just he hasn't been the goalie that we need. And unfortunately, even trading away someone like Tuck, again, he doesn't have the value that's going to see us bringing a game changer in net. We need to hope that the game changer in net comes from within the system already, where, we're looking okay in terms of the prospects we have. It's just whether or not they develop. So with that said, I think I am going to give up on Tuck. I am going to give up on Roberto Luongo, and we're just going to try to recover some draft picks out of this, I'd say. And that will free up space for me to be able to call up Dylan Dubé, which would be nice to get him to the NHL. So we'll see. It might be a challenge to get teams to be interested in either of these two. Tuck's on an expiring deal too. As Arizona, they could use a backup, actually. They could use a backup. Malmivara is their current backup, who in fairness is doing better than Luongo. So this wouldn't be the worst deal for them. They also don't have a second-round pick this year. Right now, obviously, that first-round pick isn't going to happen, but hey, it's worth a shot. They're second next year and a fourth this year, though. Will that go through? Just a bit low. Okay, so we might not be able to recoup a second this year, but a second next year is on the cards. Second round pick, second and a fifth for Tuck and Luongo. I'm good with that if they are. Not quite. They'd have to put TVR on waivers. Damn it. Let's look elsewhere. Are there any other teams that are interested in both of them? Dallas, although cap-wise it's problematic. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Any other teams that are interested in both? Montreal, they can afford to do it. They don't want to give up that second, however. They'd have too many goalies. We might have to get this to work out with Arizona. Not quite sure how. Washington can't afford it. So the Coyotes would have to put TVR on waivers. So what if we do it just a second and a sixth to really make it worth their while? Just the second? They really don't want to lose TVR. All right, well, then there's nothing we can do on that front. Was there any other team aside from Montreal that had interest in both? I don't think so. So who do the Habs have in terms of goalies? Okay, they have quite a few, in fairness, including a veteran Cam Ward. Carey Price is still there. It looks like Ward is currently their backup, which, is he on a one-year deal? How is Cam Ward still making that much money? Yeah, he's playing like a Cam Ward would. I'm willing to take back Cam Ward in this deal, maybe. Might just be worth keeping Luongo, man. Might just be worth it, but then we look to move on from Tuck. I think that's what I'm going to do. I guess we're just going to try to keep Luongo. I might not even play him, in fairness. Let's see if we can find a team that's interested in Tuck and that can afford him, preferably a team in the East. The Devils, second round pick. How close are we to having a done deal? Not quite. I am willing to make a move if necessary. What about a nice shiny sixth round pick to sweeten the pot? Right. What about a nice shiny fifth? Of course, the Devils aren't doing that great this season. Whoops. Okay. Well, I don't think New Jersey was going to happen anyway. Their second round pick's just a tad bit too valuable, and I'd rather take a meh value draft pick than just settling for like a third. So let's see if the Islanders, they're not willing to move picks even though they have a great record. How much sense does that make? Pittsburgh couldn't really afford him. Tampa might be able to afford him. It's going to be close. They'd have too many skaters. Toronto, probably too many skaters. Washington, can't afford him. Jesus. Boston? Might be able to make it work. No, too many skaters still. Even then, huh? Carolina. This has to be a fit, right? Yeah, so let's see. What if we do a second and a third next year to play it safe? Will that go through? Not quite. We'll try a second and a fourth next year. How close are we now? How about a second and a sixth next year? What do you say? Sweeten it just a touch. You know what? Hey, I'll take a seventh this year if they're down for it. Second and a seventh for Alex Tuch. There you go, Carolina. You have your rental. I hate to get rid of Alex Tuch. Again, I really enjoy watching him play in real life. He is a great talent, but unfortunately in this game, it just hasn't worked out for him. So it is what it is. We will be calling up Dylan Dubé to replace him. In fairness, I should have double-checked to see how good he's been down in the AHL. And the answer is quite over a point a game. He absolutely deserves to be here. And I gotta be honest, I do want to check goaltending. How is Kapainen done? He is killing the AHL. Luongo stays as backup. Kapainen would benefit. I was going to say benefit better, but that's pretty much the way to phrase it. He is better suited to just tear up the AHL this season than for me to rush him at this point. So that is what we'll do. We will give him the opportunity and we'll tank, but not totally tank our setup for this season, as Mason's going to be moved to center. So Dubé, Mason, and Roach is the third line. So we're pretty much unfazed by that setup, and hopefully Luongo can turn it around. It's a positive thing that Malcolm Subban has been able to turn it around in the way that he has. So in terms of who gets into this lineup, it's going to be Novikov or Greer, and I'm thinking it's going to be Vitaly and Novikov to begin this turnaround, and we'll leave the roster as is from there. But Alex Tuch is gone to make room for Dylan Dubé. He was going to be gone anyway. We certainly weren't going to re-sign him. So we're still battling for a playoff spot. Let's continue through the month of January, shall we? I'm intrigued to see what Dylan Dubé can do, what our goaltending can do, and what we see now from the Chicago Wolves. Now that we have made that change, they have lost their leading point scorer in Dylan Dubé. How negative of an effect is that going to have on the team? I imagine it's going to be quite heavy, as they've been doing pretty damn well. Hudson Bembridge goes down to a concussion. He's going to be out for about 2 months, a month and a half at least. That's pretty rough. But that does mean that Greer gets into the lineup. We'll see what he can do. We're going to have to fix the 3-on-3 forward lines just fine. Let's just put McChesney there for the hell of it. Sure, why not? That works. That works. I'm not too concerned. So 22, 16, and 3 make it 17 after a 3-0 loss to the Ducks. Again, if we give up goals, I'm not too concerned. Dion Phaneuf is technically playing defense for us right now, which, you know, it's better that way instead of calling up somebody else. As Roach goes down to a mild concussion, that is not ideal as we continue to deal with quite a few injuries. Mason's up to an 84, by the way, and Ryan Reeves is going to be on the third line. Let's get Haig back into the lineup. The injury trouble has been a bit of an issue this season, and let's go ahead. That's a tough call. Let's swap Reeves and Carpenter at the very least. Carpenter's down to a 76. He's been one of my favorite players. For those who watched, or have been watching for a while, but particularly who have been watching in the past year with the Montreal series, you'll know that occasionally I get those bottom six, shut down, gritty guys. They end up being some of my favorite players on the team to use. We kept Philip Deneau in Montreal for season after season, and I feel like Ryan Carpenter is my Philip Deneau for this season. And I'm quite happy with him, as Hannu Taipalus is looking like the number one guy in this draft. We do need our scouting department to step up a little bit, but there's still plenty of time as we'll get Roach back in. But this is looking like it could be Carpenter's last year. He's declining quite quickly. And with some of the younger talent we have coming up, it's probably going to be a smarter idea. Not to mention, I mean, hell, some of the younger talent we have coming up, our top 9 is already looking filthy. You have Dylan Dubé as a third-line guy. Mason's technically a second-line guy. Yeah, we're going to have... Oh my god, I didn't even notice. Russell Clausen's up to an 88. Jesus. Like, we're already going to have decisions to make shortly. You got to remember, Mason was the 8th overall pick, so it's not like he was a slouch behind Lackey and Goldobin. He was the one that fell out of the top 5 to the 8th spot when we were looking at taking a defenseman. He fell. We were able to get him too, so we technically walked away with 4 top 5 talents. And it shows. This roster is ridiculous. This top 6 is, this top 9 is ridiculous already. It's just mainly waiting for some of these defensemen to come along and really waiting for our defensive situation to sort itself out, which will happen really in due time. As who do we need to put back into the lineup? I think it's going to be Greer that gets taken out. Yeah, Rizzy is a forward, so there we go. He's back in, and then Novikov is a 63 at 22 years old, so he's never going to develop. If we wanted to go full try-hard with that, we just immediately flip him for somebody else since we know he's not going to develop. I imagine he still has half-decent value. 28, 20, and 3 as of February 1st. The Chicago Wolves are still doing well, too, despite injury. We are still in a playoff spot. Still a pretty close race. Vancouver pulling away, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that we'd finish second in this division. I mean, as it is, we're only 4 wins back of Vancouver, so it's still close. Tate Dwyer's a point-a-game player. There's quite a bit we could change about this team. I mean, Dwyer's killing it. Cody Glass is killing it. Suzuki's doing well. I mean, they're just feeding Tate Dwyer. And why the hell not, right? Russell Clausen's doing well. Oh my god. That second line is unreal. Dylan Dubé has 3 points in 11 games. Yikes. I thought he'd be better than that. Mason has 14 goals. Roach has assists. So Mason and Roach are doing well, but the rest of that line's just not coming together, whether it be Tuck or Dubé. It's just not happening. But, nice, by the way, just the fact that Stelio has the point total that he does. Roach can't really play center. I'm going to bump up Jason Robertson. I'm going to give Robertson a chance. I'm going to drop Dubé, let him get a little bit more acclimated. And we'll see what happens there. But let's try Robertson on that third line. Not the worst way to go. And then defensively, Theodore Point total's nice, but a minus player. Braunstrom's done pretty well. Haig's not much of a point getter, of course. Isaiah Norton's been okay. Hattainen's been solid. And Chablu's been okay. I really don't have an issue with the defense. It's just the goaltending that has not been solid at all this year. And when you look at Malcolm Subban, I'm sure we could find some goalies who are lower overall that have been doing better than him. So it's not necessarily a matter of overall sometimes. Just on occasion, the game can just not go your way. But we'll continue on with the sim. We'll get closer to the trade deadline. I don't really see us making that many moves. In terms of improving the team, I mean, we're fine now. Really? It's going to sort itself out. Like, we could take a more proactive approach and just be like, okay, well, this guy might not work out, so let's go ahead and move this guy. But our top 6 is sorted. Our defense, it's not phenomenal, but it's a pretty damn young core that could still see some improvement. So it's like, okay, well, we could trade them to get more ready guys now, but nah. It's just the goaltending, which we know Malcolm Subban's capable of playing at a relatively high level, at least league average. Hasn't really been the case this year. And then the Roberto Luongo's been a disaster. I think the biggest issue with the goaltending situation is that we kind of let Robin Leonard revitalize his career, and then he's gone on to be pretty damn good this season for the New York Rangers, as we are still in the first wild card spot, 4 points back of Arizona. Tate Dwyer is still killing it. We're 6-4 in our last 10, and a pretty good run of form. Clausen again being an 88 is just phenomenal. Absolutely unreal. Mason doesn't even have power play time. Are you kidding me? Jesus. He's an 85 already. Our top 9 is ready to just destroy worlds. That's the only way to phrase it. Like, they are just, like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And I'm looking to, yeah, this is definitely the last year for Carpenter, but I think by the end of this year, someone's going to be ready to jump over him. Luongo back up to a 900 save percentage. So yeah, that's the one downside. It's the one downside is our goaltending isn't exactly phenomenal. But what I do want to do is take out Tyler Wong, if I can, which I can with Greer. I know he was replacing somebody else. Let's optimize this a little bit based off of overall, just to get the best players a tad bit more ice time. Now the 72s, medium 6, low 6, low elite, low 6. We'll keep Kostitsin there. So that's fine by me. Let's optimize this a little bit for down the stretch. Unfortunately, center-wise, it's not going to be that great. Doesn't really matter. I'm intrigued to see what this team can do. Who's got the best potential here? Probably Rizzy. Let's go with that. So Kostitsin can play center. Verbata or Rizzy, not really, but that works. And then defensively, Gertzen's up to a 78 as a low elite, 20 years old. That's not bad. Casto's in due to injury, I believe. Although Lindbergh, Kolzig, or Platt. Or Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky's in. Let's play Lindbergh at the moment. Let's see how good he is. Bobrovsky's in. We're looking good. It's just a matter of time of waiting for this team to develop. And then Kapainen's up to a 76, which might be due to morale, but he's killing it. He's having a phenomenal season for the Chicago Wolves. So I really do think it just comes down to waiting it out. Sure, we might have to sacrifice a year for the majority of these guys, but we wait for the defense and goaltending situation to solve itself. We already have in-house solutions, not to mention another draft coming up. I think we're set up so well for the future so quickly. We might not have been set up this well had we not gone crazy with the trades, but factor in that we were going to trade for Clausen. We still would have had Dwyer, Norton, Kane, Bobrovsky, Greer, Christie, and a couple of other players as well, like Yossi, Panarin, William Karlsson might have still been here rather than Goldobin, Mason, and Lackey. So it's not as if the only reason why we're looking good is that I made those crazy trades. We were going to be looking okay regardless. It's not as if we were in a bad spot, of course, because the team was looking great as it is. And then when you factor in, finding someone like Dwyer in the 3rd round, which is just insane. Absolutely insane. That might go, it's early, but that might go down as one of the steals of NHL 19 for us. We're looking so good right now. So defensively, you factor in that Kane should be close to being ready. Bobrovsky's going to need some time. And actually, if we look at the overalls here, well, in fairness, Gertzen might be ready. Eklund might be ready. There's going to be some competition, but Kane's going to be the first real game changer there. It's the goaltending that's of concern, but Kapainen in the short term could end up being pretty damn good. Not to mention Gervais, Chouinard, and Dirksen. Like, this goaltending situation's going to solve itself. We already have the solutions in-house. It's just, for this season, it's frustrating to watch, the team struggle as much as they are. And heading into next year, Kapainen might even be our starter. We might keep Malcolm around as the backup. Or maybe even the starter if Kapainen doesn't take a huge step forward. But we're looking okay. Draft pick-wise, we have a pick in every single round, thanks to the deal with Carolina for Alex Tuck. We really have nobody else that I could see us getting rid of, at least to me. I mean, between keeping like Glass, Roach, Suzuki, Dylan Dubé is more of a frustrating case where he's not exactly getting the job done offensively, which is a shame. Granted, I didn't keep him on the third line for long. He is pretty well-rounded, though. I'm surprised he only has 3.5-star skating. You would have thought it would have been better. But there's really no one that we'd want to ditch at this point. So I think what we're going to do is just finish up the season in this episode. There's not a whole hell of a lot to do. We'll see if we can sneak into the playoffs. If we do, anything can happen once we're there. But for now, the roster stays the same. We move ahead, and we see where the chips fall. I mean, we have 33 wins on the season. I don't think anyone expected us to be terrible, and we are most certainly not. As we'll go ahead and take Greer out of the lineup and bring back Bembridge, which I'm excited for him as well as just in terms of where the hell we move you. I don't know. There, screw it. That works. I don't care. I don't really care if anyone can actually properly play center down in the AHL for the most part. As Lackey, what's going on, buddy? You're welcome for the extra minutes, buddy. You are welcome. Keep up the hard work. Great job. Great job. Elijah, we love you. I mean, literally, we love you. I ruined the series for some people. I ruined the enjoyment of the series that some people had for the sake of drafting you. So I'm glad to hear that we're on the same page. Oh, damn. Damn, and obviously we didn't claim Luke Shen. McChesney is back as well. He's a defenseman, if I'm not mistaken. I think we'll be taking out Lindbergh and bringing back old McChesney. We actually have too many players in terms of who I'd actually like to see get into the lineup. But with the amount of injuries, too, I guess that hasn't been too big of a deal. 35 wins for the Vegas Golden Knights, 31 wins for the Chicago Wolves. Both teams potentially on pace to make the postseason. 13 wins for Nashville. Oh my God. That is one of the worst AI records I think I've ever seen. Only 13 wins. What do you guys think? Are they going to break 20? I'll definitely try to remember to check at the end of the year. That is brutal. What, are they doing their own draft to glory? Shit. Lackey, buddy, you and me. Yeah, we're doing good, buddy. We're doing well. Things are going great. Things are going great. Yeah. Me and my buddy Elijah, he's getting awful chatty. I mean, Elijah, don't think I won't notice a little bit of brown nosing. Now, don't be kissing too much ass here. We still got games to win, buddy. We need to fight for the playoffs. Or maybe he's just that kind-hearted and really appreciates me, again, selling out the sake of my series to some people for the sake of drafting him. Maybe he just really appreciates that. As we still have Typalis. Rositas is EBEL, and LaBelle is QMJHL, but he's being scouted. We're not going to have to worry about scouting anybody in the top 5. I can't imagine we're trading for the top 3 picks again, so, I'm going to continue to trust my scouts and let them do their thing. That's a big loss to St. Louis. We've actually lost 4 in a row and 5 out of our last 6, so not the best run of form we've ever found ourselves in. As Nash ended up being the starter in that time. He wasn't too bad. You know what, Hovland, I hate to say it, buddy, but I think you're going to lose your backup job for the moment. As good old Kevin Nash here, or Caden. We'll call him Big Sexy, though. He'll be the backup for now. As we look to get back to our winning ways, we get our 40th win of the year against Minnesota, 41 against Calgary. We lose in overtime to the Arizona Coyotes. Oleg Kostitsyn was hurt as well. I don't recall him being injured, though. Was he? Perron's a 63. If I take him out of the lineup, there's Kostitsyn. Yeah, he was fine. He was in the lineup anyway. That's really weird, but okay. I hate when that happens, when a player doesn't miss a game. 6-1 loss to Edmonton. Out of nowhere, we're just proving to be somewhat prone to blowout losses. And I don't really know why. As we beat San Jose, so we only have 3 games left this year. As you can tell, Vancouver's going to take the division title. We play Vancouver, San Jose again, and the Arizona Coyotes. So a tough game, a very winnable game, and a toss-up. we'll see how this goes. Where are we in the standings? We are currently in the top wild card spot, 3 points back of the Coyotes, but they have 2 games at hand, so the odds that we end up finishing outside of a wild card spot are extremely slim, but it's pretty much confirmed. We're a playoff team. Yeah, everything's set. So right now we're mainly battling it out with teams like Dallas just to see how this goes. Like, what's the seeding going to be? Hopefully we can avoid Vancouver, get into the central bracket, and take on Chicago or Colorado in the first round. We might have it in. So let's see what we can do here against the Canucks. Can we get a big-time win? No, we cannot. No, we cannot. Dallas have 2 games at hand, and they're only 3 points back. So we have to keep an eye out on the Stars as we hope to stay ahead of them. 90 points, the Stars at 87. They still have a game at hand. So winning these last games are crucial for us if we want to avoid the Canucks. Can we beat the San Jose Sharks? Yes, we can. 6-2. That should seal it. Hopefully. 92 points. 90 for Dallas. Oh, shit. We need a point here. We need a point to guarantee that we're not taking on Vancouver. I'd much rather take on Chicago for obvious reasons. So let's see here. Let's jump into this. Can we get the win against the Coyotes that will seal a first-round matchup against the Chicago Blackhawks and a transition over to the Central Division side of the playoffs rather than the Pacific? Brandon Perlini gets the opening goal. Hello! Dylan Strome makes it 2-0. Dylan Dubé, Nick Suzuki, and Elijah Lackey. 3 unanswered goals. We have a 3-2 lead heading into the third period. Can we hold on to get the win? An explosion of offense that we are more than capable of. Nick Suzuki gets his second of the game. This is ridiculous. Like, just how offensively stacked we are already as Bure brings them back to within 1 for the Coyotes. 4 minutes left. Can we hold on? Can Subban shut the door? Gregory Roach makes it 5. Skinner gets them back to within 1, but we're able to hold on. 5-4, your final. Oh my God, we're like the Leafs. Just outscore everybody to win. Who cares about defense and goaltending? Just outscore everybody. We end up getting the win. We know that we will be taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Tate Dwyer finishes at a point-a-game pace. You absolute madman. We'll take a look at the full stats here just to make sure every team's at 82. So yeah, it's confirmed. We are playing Chicago. Dallas will be playing Vancouver. Dallas lost anyway, so it did not matter that we won that last game, but I'm glad we did. Let's take a look at what our team accomplished this year. And actually, you know what? Here, let's just go through player stats. It'll be a little bit quicker. But yeah, damn, Tate Dwyer, 45 goals and a point-a-game pace. We'll take a look at team stats first and foremost. So we finished in a wild card spot. Vancouver actually ended up winning the President's Trophy. We finished with the 15th best record. Dallas at 19th made the playoffs. So a little bit rough there, but we made it work. We averaged 3.15 goals for per game, which you would think would be one of the highest, and technically it was top 5, but this is a very high-scoring league this year. Goaltending was down, especially too, as Chicago averaged 3.5 goals per game. I said I wanted Chicago. We're going to get lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree, or like the entire country of Canada, because, yeah, with our defense and goaltending, oh, God. Or lit up like a menorah or whatever else. Don't take offense. Goals against, 263 or 268 for them. Don't know what the hell I'm on. The same thing that everyone in Canada's on, apparently. And almost a 3. Is that the highest? That wasn't the highest. Nashville only had 19 wins. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Our power play was up there at 22.4%. Unfortunately, Chicago's was also up there. Our penalty kill was at 80%. Theirs was at 82%. So not bad. I mean, we did pretty well. It's just we allow a lot of goals. And by the way, down in the AHL, Chicago Wolves are playoff bound as well. It looks like they've taken that division title. It's not confirmed, but San Antonio would have quite a bit of ground to be made up So we're going to have a playoff series for both leagues in the next episode. That's what I like to see. And actually, let's go back to this. How bad was it for not Chicago, but for Nashville? Oh my God. I mean, we know it was 19 wins, but Jesus Christ, look at that. 48 points. That is absolutely brutal. I don't know how to explain that. Yes, I'm going to take a look at their team. Absolutely. And of course, we'll look at Chicago in the next episode here. Let's go look at Nashville really quickly. Although Fog of War is on. I mean, Claude Giroux, Tolvanen. When you look at some of the names, it's not looking that bad. Why were they as brutal as they were? That's why. Tristan Jarry and Dan Vladar. Yikes. 17 wins between them. Yet they won 19 games. Brutal season for the Preds. Back in Vegas. So Malcolm Subban was league average at best. Absolutely brutal. Roberto Luongo just doesn't have it anymore. It was worth a shot. But yeah, needless to say, goaltending will be addressed heading into next season. Defensively, Eric Bronnstrom, 40 points. Great season for him. 38 for Shea Theodore. Great season for him as well. 19 for Tynan. I'm good with that. Very good at that. So again, Bronnstrom up to an 81 at 23 years old, which is solid. He's not going to get much better. We'll probably cap out like an 82 to an 83 as you get a look at his attributes. Shea Theodore, I mean an 85 at this point. It's pretty much locked in. Tynan's up to a 78. He's a medium top four at 19 years old. That's not bad. Look at his attributes there. Isaiah Norton, former second-round pick, looking pretty good. He's a 79, medium elite. So we've done really well drafting-wise here. Jet Wu, low 4, 10 assists this season. Not looking that bad. And then Nick Hague, 7 points, but we know he's not a major point getter. At 24 years old, a Channel Hall of Famer. And then Dion Phaneuf, 3 points in 11 games at a 70 overall. Because why the hell not? We had to sign some guys to big money deals, so I actually had the freedom to call up and send down who we needed. It's just the way that is, of course. But, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And then forward-wise, we already know Tate Dwyer is the goddamn man. Former third-round pick, Tate Dwyer, a career year. This was only his second full season in the league, which is absolutely crazy to me. And then, of course, we signed him at the end of the 2020-21 season. And then what he did from there, because he was ripping apart what we'll consider the NCAA. Absolutely crazy. What a career progression for him. Cody Glass had a great season as well, working with him on the top line. And then Elijah Lackey. We had Isaiah on defense there. Elijah Lackey, 43 goals in his rookie season. My God. Clausen, he actually outscored the number 1 pick, Russell Clausen, who was up to an 88, but 30 goals in his rookie season, which is just phenomenal. Nick Suzuki looked pretty damn good this year as well. No complaints, 61 points. Gregory Roach on the third line. Granted, he had power play time. Had a great season, another former second-round pick. He had Victor Goldobin, who was the third pick last year. Also did pretty well, 41 points in his rookie year. Marvin Mason, the 8th pick, finished with 20 goals this season. Jason Robertson ended up finishing over 30 points. Stelio at 30 points, which is tremendous for a fourth liner. Carpenter at 19 points, so he started to slow down, but that's still a good season. He would have hit 20 if he played the full year. Dylan Dubé, not much of a point getter, but would have hit the 20 that was required of a fourth liner had he played the full season, or at least he would have been close. And of course, we had Backus and Reeves play some games as well. So around the league, Besser just killed it. Taylor Hall joining him in Vancouver. That's not fair. That is not fair that we have to compete with that. Jesus. Patrick Kane was up there. In terms of goal scoring, Tavares, Kane, McDavid, but Tate Dwyer and Elijah Lackey, not too shabby. And in terms of rookie skaters, I think we have ourselves a Calder winner. And surprisingly, it's not Russell Clausen. Elijah Lackey, number 2, will be winning the Calder this year, which is insane. And the rivalry that we are going to have with the Vancouver Canucks year in and year out is going to be absolutely ridiculous. For now, though, that will do it for this one. I think we recapped everything. If I missed it, let me know. I'll check it out before our series against the Blackhawks begins in the next episode to get a look at the full bracket on the way out. In the West, we have Colorado and St. Louis. We play Chicago. LA plays Arizona. Vancouver plays Dallas. In the East, the Islanders and Hurricanes. Penguins, Rangers, Lightning, Bruins, Leafs, and Caps. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting this series and this channel in general. I do appreciate it. You know the deal, though. Check out everything in the description. Make sure to click that stupid bell as well, because you never know when YouTube's going to decide, oh, hey, you're subscribed to this guy? You must not want to see his content, though, right? Surely. So we're not going to tell you. Make sure to click the bell, of course. And yeah, of course, if I missed anything, let me know down in the comments below. Lineup-wise as well. If you have any suggestions, let me know in terms of combinations, power play setup, and Jesus, whether or not we should call up Reece Girard for the fourth line. Holy shit. Thank you guys for watching. It's appreciated as always, and I will see you in the first round against Chicago.